First and foremost, political anthropology. Definition. Do write everyone quickly. Yes dear, right. लिखना है अपने आप. लिख लिया? What is this? Political study, holistic study of political aspect of humans over time and place. ठीक है? Now, what is the origin and development of this? So we can talk about this from the times of Aristotle. He says man is a political animal. सब कुछ वो politically करता है. But ये तो anthropology नहीं था. तो in the earliest phase, you can say formative phase, so Morgan, L.H. Morgan and Henry Maine and some others, they talked about the evolution of political systems. What Morgan says, the early society has societas that evolved into civitas. Right? Effectively, what do you mean by societas? So, kinship based political organization to territory based political organization. Territory based political organization means state. ठीक है? इन्होंने क्या कहा? ये इवोल्व होती हैं. Political organization evolved with time. Right? What they were saying, if you remember, Morgan का idea था society evolved from savage to barbaric to civilized, and civilization is characterized by state. State is a territorial political unit. Savages, they live in bands as hunter-gatherers, and band is characterized by kinship, not territory. ठीक है? So their idea was societies or political organizations evolved from societas to civitas. Same was the idea of Henry Maine also. Kinship based political organization to territory based political organization. इसने सीधा बोला kinship based political organization to territory based. ठीक है? Then ये कब तक था? ये 1900s तक था. 1870s to 1900s, 1910 तक भी, 10-15 तक. Then what happened? Structural functionalist trend. So scholars like Brown and his followers, that include Evans Pritchard and Mayer Fortis, they tried to understand the political systems of different societies using the structural functionalist approach. What are structural functionalists? What were the main ideas of structural functionalists? They say society has a structure and a function. That means political organization is that structure of the society that has some function. What is that function? Maintenance of internal order and external peace. Now, why is political organization? Because society wants to sustain. So political organization sustains the society. ठीक है? It ensures the continuity of the society. That is why society has a political organization. Done? Structural functionalists. Now Brown के जो फॉलोअर थे इवांस प्रिचार्ड एंड मेयर फोर्टिस, दे रोट अ बुक अफ्रीकन पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम्स. And this book was published in 1940. This book is considered as the first textbook of political anthropology. African political system is considered as the first textbook of political anthropology because it compared the political systems of Africa from band to state. All type of political systems were compared and analyzed. ठीक है? If you remember, Pritchard studied Nuer and he says that Nuer have a segmentary lineage system and the segments have a function to fulfill. They fulfill economic, political as well as developmental functions. So political systems are there to fulfill certain functions. That was the core idea here. Structural functionalists. And why the structures exist? Because these structures ensure harmony in the system, right? What they considered or what they assumed that this structure is harmonious in nature. Social structure is harmonious in nature. That means anything that is happening, anything is present that is ensuring the harmony and continuity. समझ में आ गया? ठीक है. Now what happened? This trend was challenged by some scholars and there we had processual turn. This approach was pioneered by Max Gluckman, Victor Turner, and other scholars like Frederick Barth and others. ठीक है? ये 1950s में चल रहा है. Okay. What Max Gluckman says, वो कहता है कि सोशल स्ट्रक्चर हार्मोनियस नहीं है, वो इनहेरेंटली जो है वो कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी है. द कॉन्ट्राडिक्शंस आर इनहेरेंट इन द सोशल स्ट्रक्चर. देयर आर पुश एंड पुल विद इन द सोशल स्ट्रक्चर, एंड डिस्पाइट ऑफ दोज टेंशंस, कॉन्ट्राडिक्शंस, पुश एंड पुल्स, स्ट्रक्चर रिमेन्स. ठीक है? बहुत सारे पुश एंड पुल है, उसके बाद में भी स्ट्रक्चर काम करता है. ठीक है? दैट मीन्स there can be a possibility that one structure is pulling the society in one direction, other is pulling in another direction. One such contradiction can be, say society has matrilineal and patriarchy or patrilocality. Both are contradictory principles, and despite of the contradiction, society remains. Right? So there are political organizations or political structures that helps to deal with those contradictions. समझ में आया? That helps to deal with those contradictions. So society is not frozen in time. Society is not a static system. Society is like a process that change over time. ठीक है, ये प्रोसेस की तरह है, क्योंकि सोसाइटी के अंदर ही इनहेरेंट कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस हैं. नाउ सपोज you take an example that there is a society called as Bamboo that was studied by Victor Turner. Victor Turner was the student of Max Gluckman. Bamboo is a society that is characterized by two contradicting principles. One is matrilineality, another is patrilocality. And because of these two contradictory principles, there are frequent divorces in the society. On an average, a person has more than 2 divorces. Okay? So, there are frequent divorces and fissions of villages. That means divorce होगा तो टूट जाएंगे, village break down होगा, बहुत frequent होगा. Right? Now, there was a village. Because of the fission, there would be more than one village maybe. Fission. So society is not static. Society is like a process. Dynamic hai. How you compare this with Brown's argument? Brown says society is like me. And anything that is happening in me is to keep me alive. Right? That means इसको maintain करना मतलब static रखना इसको. That is what the function of everything, including the political organization. So if you just juxtapose me onto the society, this idea onto the society, you would say everything that is happening in the society is to maintain the status quo in the society. Okay? That was the idea. But here what we see, society is not a harmonious system. It's inherently contradictory system. There are tensions within the society. And those tensions resulted into change in the society, social structure and other social dimensions. The society is like a process not frozen in time. That's the idea here. Society एक frozen system नहीं है, timeless system नहीं है, society बदलती रहती है. That's the core idea here in this. Understood? ये dynamic view है. How the political organization maintains harmony. I'm coming to that. अभी इतना समझ में आ गया? ठीक है. तो political organization क्या है? That deals with the internal order and peace with the outsiders. ठीक है. तो Max Gluckman had studied some rituals of rebellion. In the society of South Africa, Swaziland and others. What are rituals of rebellion? These are those rituals that are directed against the authority. They are as rebellions. These are the rituals of rebellion that are directed against the authority. ठीक है, जो local authority थी उसके against में थे ये. One such ritual that he talks about a ritual in which a mock king is made. मतलब king का एक mock king बनाएंगे, उसको king वाले कपड़े पहनाएंगे on a ritual occasion, उसको गाली देंगे और उसको पीटेंगे, उसके कपड़े फाड़ देंगे. ठीक है, हुआ क्या उसका काम? उनका फ्रस्ट्रेशन निकल गया और अथॉरिटी एक्नॉलेज हो गई कि ये अथॉरिटी है. Authority बुरी नहीं है, king बुरा है. Right? So this ritual of rebellion has a political function. Right? So what the two functions that rituals of rebellion does? One is it acknowledges the authority And number 2, ventilation of frustration. Right? So पावर रिलेशंस को सिंपली एक पॉलिटिकल स्ट्रक्चर से नहीं समझा जा सकता, एक टिपिकल पॉलिटिकल स्ट्रक्चर. There are some silent structures that also help in managing the power dynamics in the society. So political organization is about understanding the power system, how power is enforced, how power is legitimized, how power is accepted or not accepted. Understood? Now, if you want to see these rituals of rebellion, they are found in all societies. In your own society, there are so many rituals of rebellion. न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते हो, उस न्यूज़पेपर में जो कैरिकेचर आते हैं, कार्टून्स आते हैं, वो रिचुअल ऑफ रिबेलियन है. दे मोक द अथॉरिटी और सबको मजा आ जाता है. तो जो फ्रस्ट्रेशन है ना, वो वहां से निकल जाती है. आपको गुस्सा आ रहा होता है अथॉरिटी पे, वो गुस्सा वहां से निकल रहा होता है. हाँ, आप हंस लिए मतलब गुस्सा निकल गया. Isn't it? That's what it is. Now, if you just see the Latmar Holi, have you heard of Latmar Holi? नॉर्थ इंडिया में कहाँ पे होती है लठमर? वृंदावन, बरसाना, दैट इज द एरिया, मथुरा के पास में, राइट? वहाँ पे डंडे से मारती हैं लेडीज मेन को, राइट? ऑन द ओकेजन ऑफ होली, men would try to apply colors and women will hit them. That's a ritual of rebellion against patriarchy. That's a kind of ritual. See, patriarchy is a very suppressive system for women, right? So there are mechanisms through which women went out their frustration. So that's one such. हरियाणा में कोड़ा मार होली होती है. The lut is replaced with koda. Koda is basically a cloth, tight, stretched like a braid, और इतना टाइट स्ट्रेच होता है उसको पानी में भिगोती हैं, और अगर वो एक लग जाए तो स्किन साथ में आती है ना? सो दैट्स व्हाट इट इज. सो दैट्स अनदर मैकेनिज्म ऑफ understanding this. Then there are many other such rituals. Abuse is also a kind of ritual of rebellion. Abuse, that people abuse each other, that's also a ritual of rebellion. शादी में जो गीत गाते हैं, शादी के टाइम पे अगर आप देखोगे तो आप सुन नहीं सकते हो उन गानों को, है ना? वहां पे अगर आपको बैठना पड़ जाए तो दैट्स वेरी वेरी, शर्म आ जाए किसी को भी. वो कैसे कैसी बातें बोल देते हैं उस दौरान. एंड विमेन सिंग दोज सॉन्ग्स एंड दे आर डायरेक्टेड अगेंस्ट द मैन, ठीक है, डायरेक्टेड अगेंस्ट द ग्रूम्स फैमिली, है ना? और वो फ्रस्ट्रेशन निकालने के लिए, अभी तो वो नहीं होता है, दे यूज टू टेक मेहंदी, हाथ में मेहंदी लगाएंगे पूरा, एंड देन दे वुड डू छापा. वो छापा ऐसे नहीं मारते, धीरे से नहीं लगाते हैं, दे वुड हिट लाइक एनीथिंग. हल्दी उतर जाती है ना, फ्रस्ट्रेशन उनकी निकलती है कि वो लाइफ टाइम छोड़ना है छाप मुझे. सो इफ मेहंदी इज यूज्ड, दैट मीन्स आप उससे ड्राई क्लीन करा लो, कुछ भी करा लो, इट वुड बी अ परमानेंट मार्क. हल्दी तो निकल जाएगी ना, वो तो मॉडर्न अंडरस्टैंडिंग है. मेहंदी इज मच डीपर एंड रिचर इन दैट सेंस दैट इट विल नॉट गो अवे. मेहंदी का मार्क अगर आपके कपड़े पे गिर जाता है तो जाता नहीं है. सपोज दूल्हे वाले जो होते तैयार होके आते हैं, दे बाय देयर बेस्ट क्लोथ्स, है ना? एंड यू नो दैट क्लोथ्स आर वेरी एक्सपेंसिव, स्पेशली इफ यू बाय फॉर अ मैरिज सेरेमनी. अब उस पर अगर चिपका दिया, दैट मीन्स इट इज नॉट यूजफुल एनीवेयर नाउ. You will have a permanent mark from here, and that is done primarily by women. That's also a ritual of rebellion, right? और अभी तो वो मारते हैं कि नहीं मारते हैं पता नहीं मुझे, because I was spared when I was a kid many times. I was spared कि बच्चे को लग जाएगी, ऐसा ही कमजोर सा है, कहीं एक हाथ लगा यही लुढ़क गया, right? So I knew that because when I was a kid, so I was spared, but many of the male members of the family, they were not spared, right? And they used to do like this, है ना, ओई अम्मा types, है ना, कितनी जोर से मार दिया. So that happens. So that is a ritual of rebellion. So ritual of rebellion is reflected through various ways, and that helps in dealing with power dynamics in the society. How power is maintained. ठीक है. So that concept was later on taken up by Victor Turner, who was the student of Max Gluckman. And for your reference, Max Gluckman was the student of Brown. ब्राउन से वो डिसएग्री करके थोड़ा एक्सपेंड कर दिया. ब्राउन कहता है सोसाइटी हार्मोनियस है, वो कहता है सोसाइटी इनहेरेंटली टेंशन में है. देयर आर कॉन्ट्राडिक्शंस इन द सोसाइटी इनहेरेंट इन इट. स्ट्रक्चर ही कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी है, स्ट्रक्चर हार्मोनियस है ही नहीं. दिस आइडिया वाज टेकन अप बाय विक्टर टर्नर. विक्टर टर्नर ने पीएचडी ग्लकमैन के अंडर किया था. एंड टर्नर वाज सेंट टू दैम्बू बाय हिम. And when he went to Dambu, he saw that Dambu society is inherently contradictory because of two contradictory principles of matrilineality and patrilocality that resulted in frequent divorces. To understand this system or these kind of conflicts in the society, he devised a concept that is called as social drama. Who devised the concept of social drama? Victor Turner devised the concept of social drama in his book Schism and Continuity in the African Society. Schism and Continuity in the African Society. ये इसकी बुक का नाम था. इस बुक में इसने क्या निकाला? सोशल ड्रामा का कॉन्सेप्ट. What are dramas? Dramas are conflictive phenomena, conflicting episodes, agnostic phenomena, right? Eruption of conflicts in the society. तो बार बार ड्रामा होता रहता है उनकी सोसाइटी में, है ना. तो ड्रामा क्यों होता है? क्योंकि कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी प्रिंसिपल्स एक साथ ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं, इसलिए ड्रामा होते रहते हैं. He says any drama, social drama, has 4 stages. First stage is breach. Second is crisis. Third is redressive action. Fourth is schism. And continuity. These are the 4 stages: first, second, third, fourth. Matrilineal and patrilocality operates together. हस्बैंड वाइफ का झगड़ा हो गया है ना, दैट मीन्स एक दूसरे को कुछ बुरा लग गया, राइट? तो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, बुरा लगा. अब वाइफ ने हस्बैंड पीट दिया, क्राइसिस हो गया, है ना, उसका सर्वर तोड़ दिया, तो क्राइसिस हो गया. अब एल्डर्स आएंगे, दे वुड ट्राई टू मीडिएट रिड्रेसिव एक्शन. इधर देयर वुड बी डिवोर्स, और ठीक है पैचअप कर लो, राइट? इंडिया पाकिस्तान at the time of independence, a slight breach, full-fledged crisis, Radcliffe Line, and schism. So this concept is very useful not just to understand the interfamilial problems or intrafamilial problems, but to understand the dramas in entire society or nations. ठीक है, ये कहीं पे भी अप्लाई हो सकता है कॉन्सेप्ट सोशल ड्रामा. इट्स नॉट जस्ट लिमिटेड टू फैमिली स्ट्रक्चर. ठीक है, this is the concept of social drama. Understood? Frederick Bath studied the Swat Pathans. स्वात वैली जो पाकिस्तान का है, वहां के पठान्स को स्टडी किया इन्होंने. And he found the transactionist behavior among the Pathans. Transactionist behavior means ये इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है कि आपका रिलेटिव कौन है, सोसाइटी का स्ट्रक्चर सिर्फ रिलेटिव्स नहीं बना रहे हैं, इंटरेस्ट बना रहा है। मेरा फायदा उसके साथ अलाइन करने में है, तो आई वुड अलाइन विद दैट पर्सन, राइट? सो हाउ पावर ऑपरेट्स विद इन द सोसाइटी, ही एग्जामिन्ड दैट, राइट? Transactionalism, that means strategic interests. Strategic for acquiring power, right? कोई भी रिलेशन है वो ट्रांजैक्शन है फॉर एक्विजिशन ऑफ पावर विद इन द सोसाइटी. दैट्स व्हाट स्वात पठान की स्टडी कहती है. अंडरस्टूड? क्लियर? This is the processual or dynamic approach. Now after that what happened? After that neo-evolutionists came. Neo-evolutionists and Marxists came, and in that we have scholars like Elman Service and others. Elman Service had written a book called Primitive Social Organization. In this book, he gave a evolutionary typology of political organization. He says earliest form of political organization was band, that evolved into tribe, that evolved into chiefdom, that evolved into state. Right? This evolution was due to the material factors. Right? Material factors resulted into increase in complexity of political organization. ठीक है? This is Elman Service. 1950s 60s का आइडिया ये भी इनका भी. Now what happened in 1960s? US Army launched a project called Project Camelot. This is US Army's project, and the purpose of Project Camelot was to understand the insurgency like situations. In any other country. कब आया था ये? 1960s में. कब चल रहा था? तब उस टाइम पे वियतनाम वॉर चल रही थी. So they want to preempt such a situation, to understand the emergence of insurgency like situation in any other country. तो प्रोजेक्ट कैमेलॉट लॉन्च किया. किसने लॉन्च किया? यूएस आर्मी ने. एंड इट वाज रिजेक्टेड बाय अमेरिकन एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल एसोसिएशन. American Anthropological Association rejected this. इसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया. इसको इसलिए रिजेक्ट कर दिया, यू कैन नॉट मिलिटराइज द एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल नॉलेज. अब मैं बताता हूं कैसे. सपोज मान लिया कि आपने, हाँ जी डियर, देखो अच्छा, आप अगर एक रिसर्चर हो, सपोज आप कॉलेज में कहीं पढ़ाते हो, है ना, और आप एसोसिएशन के मेंबर हो. आप एसोसिएशन के मेंबर क्यों बनते हो? क्योंकि वो रिसर्चर्स की कम्युनिटी है जिसके कारण आपकी पूछ है ना. क्योंकि अगर आपको कहीं पे अपॉइंटमेंट चाहिए किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी में, कौन करेगा अपॉइंटमेंट? मेनली रिसर्चर ही करेंगे, सीनियर वाले. अब अगर आपने अपनी रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के खिलाफ चले गए तो आपको आपकी रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है ना, वो अमेरिकन एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल एसोसिएशन, वो आपको बॉयकॉट कर देगी। समझ में आया? वो आपको बॉयकॉट कर देगा तो आपके कैरियर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स भी बॉयकॉट हो गए इफेक्टिवली। समझ में आ रहा है? अब हर जगह पे ऐसा नहीं होता ना कि स्टेट इतना कंट्रोल कर लेता है एकेडमिक्स को, है ना, कि कोई लॉ ले आया और पूरा एकेडमिक्स कंट्रोल्ड स्क्वीज्ड। ऐसा नहीं होता है। अमेरिकन, दे हैव ग्रेट डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम फॉर एकेडमिक्स। इंडिया में कभी भी इतना नहीं रहा, तो इसलिए आपको नहीं लगता ऐसा कि एकेडमिक मैटर भी करते, क्योंकि यहाँ पे एकेडमिक्स का कोई ऐसा रिसर्च दिखता ही नहीं है। इंडिविजुअल्स का रिसर्च भले ही दिख जाए कोई एक आध का, वो भी बाहर चले गए तो बाहर से रिसर्च दिख रहा है, इंडिया से नहीं दिख रहा आपको। वहां पे रिसर्च रियली में दिखता था। तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस वर स्ट्रॉन्ग इन दैट सेंस। ठीक है, अब इन्होंने रिजेक्ट कर दिया, एंड दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वाज हेडेड बाय सम पीपल हु हैड दोज मार्क्सिस्ट आइडियाज आल्सो। अब क्यों नहीं करना चाहिए? ठीक है, पहले तो मैं आपको थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड देता हूँ कि ये जहाँ पे रिजेक्ट हो रहा था, ये सारे लोग कोलंबिया से थे, कोलंबिया यूनिवर्सिटी। और कोलंबिया यूनिवर्सिटी में एंथ्रोपोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट को एस्टेब्लिश करने वाले, प्रॉपर फ्रेम देने वाले, दैट वाज फ्रांस बोआस। एंड फ्रांस बोआस वाज अ पैसिफिस्ट। He did not like military ideas brought into academics. You may remember one incident when Ralph Linton entered into his classroom with military uniform and he asked him to get out. तो ये बोआस का बेस्टियन है जहां पे मिलिट्री लाइक नहीं की जाती। नाउ व्हाई मिलिट्री शुड नॉट बी यूजिंग इट, मिलिटराइजेशन क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए? सपोज आज आपने एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट को भेज दिया फील्ड पे टू कलेक्ट डेटा, they have collected data, so that data will be used to counter the terrorism, insurgency or anything. And when the forces would come, the people are not fools, they would know that our data was collected by some anthropologists that is misused in that sense, and that resulted into that kind of murder. After 10 years maybe anthropologists would go again, they would not come back. You getting my point? किसका लॉस होगा? एंथ्रोपोलॉजी का लॉस होगा। That's important. The second most important thing, what is the ethical point of view here? ये तो एक मजाक वाला या फिर practical point है। What is more ethical here? Someone have given you data on trust, है ना? Someone have shared their intimate knowledge with you on trust, and you have breached that trust. तो या तो आप ट्रस्ट दिखा के मत लो, आप मिलिट्री बन के जाओ, आप एकेडमिक बन के मत जाओ। That's what the problem here. Now this is 1960s, right? In 1940s, I'm telling you, थोड़ा सा पीछे और लेके चलता हूँ टाइम में। In 1940s, US Army had a war information office, and that war information office had hired the services of Ruth Benedict and Margaret Mead to study the enemy behavior. At that time, it was not a problem. Both of them were the students of the great Franz Boas. ठीक है? Ruth Benedict studied the behavior of Japanese, that why they are so fierce, so violent, ready to sacrifice themselves. She studied them, and that information was used by US Army. At that time it was not a problem, but in 1960s it was a problem. Why? Because World War II was very desperate time. Those were very desperate times. After that time have changed, world bodies have emerged, ethical guidelines have taken shape, so every academic organization was starting thinking in a different way. समझ में आया? तो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, हमने इनकी पावर को रिजेक्ट करना शुरू कर दिया. By the same time, there was postmodernist trend in anthropology, political anthropology, and here we had scholars like Michel Foucault, who gave the concepts like biopower. बायो पावर का कॉन्सेप्ट दिया। दैट मीन्स अभी तक आप पावर को हार्ड पावर समझ रहे थे, पावर टू कोअर्स, पावर टू कंट्रोल, बट पावर ऑफ स्टेट इज नॉट ऑलवेज टू कंट्रोल. Sometimes there are much subtle weapons of the state. One of that is biopower. Biopower is subtle power, not hard power. Right? Biopower is a subtle power through which state control the populations, individuals and their bodies. How? Through collection of birth and death statistics, their biometrics and all these things. Right? Now state have all kind of data of yours. Through that they control, the state controls you. State decides how many kids you can produce. State decides whether you can take your life or not. Euthanasia would be allowed or not. Even suicide was a crime, criminal offense in India some years back. Right? Whether you should take, you should keep your pregnancy or not, that is decided by Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. Right? Then you can talk about when you are going to retire. State decides. Maybe you are more physically capable to do things, but state says 60 हो गया भाई, उतर जाओ. Isn't it? So state controls and we accept it. We consider that it is for our benefit. That's not hard power, that's soft power. Whether you can contest the election or not, state decides. Subtly. Those who have more than 2 kids cannot stand in local body elections in Haryana, Maharashtra and many other states. State decides. That's the concept of biopower. That's a soft power, a very subtle power, not hard power. समझ में आया? So that's how now the discourse have changed. Now power is not just hard power, power is in the words. भाइयों और बहनों is a very powerful, है ना? You're getting my point? It has power. That white dress, white Fortuner has a power in itself. है ना? हरियाणा में कुछ नहीं करना, 1-2 किले बिके हैं, व्हाइट कपड़े खरीद लेने, एक व्हाइट फॉर्च्यूनर खरीद लेनी है, बस हो गया. स्कॉर्पियो नहीं चलता है. स्कॉर्पियो मतलब वो स्कॉर्पियो ही है अभी भी. फॉर्च्यूनर इज मिनिमल रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर दिस. राइट? ओके. सो मतलब स्कॉर्पियो इज लाइक थोड़ा सा अभी उसको टाइम लगेगा, मे बी डिसेंट्रलाइज हो जाएगा. You understand this? The biopower concept? Very nice. Now अभी भी रुके नहीं हैं हम, और भी बहुत सारे स्कॉलर्स हैं. एक जैसे स्कॉलर है गायत्री स्पीवैक. गायत्री स्पीवैक से पहले एक और कर लें. यूएस आर्मी रुकी नहीं. 2004 में वो एक और कॉन्सेप्ट लेके आई, ह्यूमैनिटेरियन सिस्टम. इसमें बोला कि एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट और सोशियोलॉजिस्ट को फील्ड में उतार देंगे गन लेके. ठीक है? अफगानिस्तान में और इस सब जगह पे. नेचुरली यू नो व्हाट अमेरिकन एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल एसोसिएशन वुड हैव डन. सो लाइक जो पहले वाला प्रोग्राम था उसको भी अबेंडन करना पड़ा था, और ये भी अबेंडन करना पड़ा बाद में. इट वाज अबेंडन इन 2007 और सो. राइट? देन देयर इज अ scholar called Gayatri Spivak. Gayatri Spivak, she wrote the book, not a book particular, एक थोड़ा सा वर्क है, Can the Subaltern Speak? Can the subaltern speak? Subaltern means marginalized people. Can the subaltern speak? And in this book, she talks about the epistemic violence against the marginalized groups. What is epistemic violence? Knowledge system. Violence through knowledge system. That means undermining the knowledge system of lower caste or the tribal people. है ना? जैसे मान लिया कि कोई किसी एक पर्टिकुलर ट्री की वर्शिप करता है और आप उसको बोलते हो क्या पागलपन कर रहा है. दैट्स अंडरमाइनिंग देयर नॉलेज सिस्टम. है ना? इफ समवन वुड से नजर लगने से बीमार होते हैं और तुम हंसने लग जाओ उस पे, दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी एपिस्टेमिक वायलेंस. ठीक है? या फिर किसी और का कोई भी नॉलेज सिस्टम है उसको नेगेट करना. ओके, सो गायत्री स्पिवक. There are many other scholars who contributed to postmodern thought, and one such could be James Scott. He had written a book, Weapons of Weak. वो कहता है वीक जो है सबमिट नहीं करते अथॉरिटी के लिए हमेशा. वीक के अपने वेपन्स हैं. Weak people, the marginalized people have their own weapon, their toolkit to oppose the authority. So James Scott did the field work in Sedaka village. Of Malaysia. And when he was studying Sedaka village, he found that there are two groups. One is the landlord and other are peasants. Landlord and peasants. Okay. Now this landlord commands the peasants, and it seems on the face of it that they accept everything. The peasants would do everything that the landlord says. जाके ये काम करो, they would do it. Right? He says that this acceptance जो ऊपर दिख रहा है, this is a public script. This is a public script. What is not visible means what is the hidden script is that these resist the power. Resistance to the power of the landlord. How these peasants resist? So they resist by feigning ignorance, by dragging their feet. बोलेगा कि ये काम करके आओ तो they would 5 मिनट का काम है तो 3 घंटे में आएंगे. ड्रैगिंग द फीट. ठीक है? फेइंग इग्नोरेंस, बोलेगा कि तुम्हें ये पता है, वो कहेंगे हैं. दैट्स फेइंग इग्नोरेंस. ठीक है? सो दैट्स अ वेपन ऑफ द वीक according to him, right? So power is not just top down, power is also there among the weak, and there are different mechanisms through which weak exercise these power. आजकल बहुत सारे आपको सोशल मीडिया में दिख जाते होगा, लोग स्पिट कर देते हैं रोटी पे. कई कई जगह दिखाता है ना. That's somehow how the weak venting out their frustration. How the weak venting out their frustration. ठीक है? Sometimes you find that many people, many workers harm the you can say silently harm their you can say job providers, house owners and all. That's kind of weapons of the weak. The weak resist the authority through their own ways. ठीक है? So understanding of this work can help us to understand why things happen. क्या मतलब? नहीं, गरीब के पास अपनी पावर है. वो जब दिखाना चाहता है वो दिखा देता है ना? नहीं, वो सारी बातें हम क्लास के बाद, है ना, ये ऐसे नहीं बात कर सकते, विल टॉक अबाउट दीज आफ्टर क्लास, है ना। वो एंथ्रोपोलॉजी नहीं, वो पर्सनल बायस है, ठीक है। ओके, सो आई बिलीव यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस। ओके, नेक्स्ट। So this is how anthropology as a political anthropology have evolved, है ना। Now what is the scope of political anthropology? So it studies the political organization, right? It studies the political organization and how political organization maintains internal order and peace with outsiders. It studies political organization in relation with ecology, economy, kinship, religion, it study power, authority and legitimacy. मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं सिलेबस लिख रहा हूं थोड़ा सा एक्सट्रापोलेट करके. It studies law and justice, and various mechanisms of social control within a society, right? Moreover, you may talk about it studies human rights, of various sections. Done? So that's the scope. What are the methods used by political anthropology? So naturally, वही participant observation and all these things. What could be the relevance? जो अभी तक करते आए वही relevance है. Formulation of policies for maintenance of order, rural development, tribal development, right? Extending the democratic ideals to the tribal areas, है ना. 5th schedule, 6th schedule, women centric policies, हर जगह पे, diplomacy and international relations, हर जगह पे यूज हो सकता है. ओके, सो आई बिलीव पहली बात तो कोई पूछेगा नहीं कि इकोनॉमी पॉलिटिकल एंथ्रोलॉजी को शॉर्ट नोट लिखो, बट आपको पता होना चाहिए.